Hi, this is Darren QB Creedell Jones. I'm from the music group The Shy Lights. This is in reference to trying to get Miss Judge Lauren Lake to do a genealogical investigation in order to clear up fraternity issues of fraud that I think have been taking place and exploitation to the legacy of my father, Creedell Jones from The Shy Lights, and our family who appeared on Fraternity Court TV show. There was a guy named Triplet who appeared on the Fraternity Court television show recently. He stated that he believed himself to be an illegitimate child without even showing any probable evidence that would support his claims as believing that he was his son. He stated that he didn't really even know my father or never had any relationship other than the one involvement that he had when he met my father, who really came to visit his mother, which I believe was my father's sister or cousin. I believe that Triplet is not at all his son whatsoever, and I think the evidence primarily supports the fact that he is not his son, and that the evidence support that he is just a nephew who did not have any experience at all in dealing with my father, nor had he ever had any real involvement or interaction with him prior to this. And he mentioned stating that my father gave him $100, which my father was known to do to almost any and everybody that he met, as a gesture of kindness to people who were fans of the Shy Lights and his music. Oftentimes he would offer $100 or just give them $100. And sometimes he would even autograph a $100 bill that he would give when he had the money to do that. Excuse me. So I'm going to encourage Miss Judge Lauren Lake to take from this point further the initiative of doing a asset investigation. First, a genealogical investigation to make sure that Triplet is not a nephew or nor anyone else that may come in the future in reference to having associations with claiming that they are a child or an illegitimate child of my father. My father married my mother after his divorce from his ex-wife in 1975. My mother later married my dad, Creedell Jones, in 1978 in St. Louis, Missouri, where my mother, his wife, named Deborah Jones, stayed married to my father, Creedell Jones, up until the day he died in August the 25th of 1994, making her the legitimate wife, making my mother his legitimate wife as well as his legitimate widow. So what I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to contact Judge Lauren Lake by phone, and you're going to hear my request for an investigation of genealogical investigations to be done and carried out. I have requested and left messages with Judge Lauren Lake and her producers several times in the past and even present. She has refused to respond to any of my messages directly. And I'm wondering why she keeps trying to duck and dodge the genealogical investigation. I believe this opens up the door for corruption and exploitation to take place, because any niece or nephew that is the distant relative of my father can claim to be his child without having to prove that by genealogical investigational standpoints. All they have to do is claim they're his illegitimate child and take a DNA test, and them being a nephew like Triplet or a cousin like someone else that may try the same thing Triplet is trying to do, their DNA would be very similar to my father, because their mother and father could possibly be the sister or brother of my father, Creedell Jones. So in the case of Triplet, which is a cousin, which is definitely a cousin from the beginning, and the fact that Mrs. Judge Lauren Lake refuses to do a DNA test is suspicious to me, and I want to hold her accountable for the condition of exploitation that she is creating by refusing to do a genealogical investigation. And from the beginning, the proper investigation that should have taken place on the television with the Judge Lauren Lake Studios or Judge Lauren Lake show of Fraternity Court TV should have began with a asset investigation, a genealogical investigation, and then to finish off with a DNA final investigation showing the DNA test results. So the genealogical investigation would have been even before the DNA test, and before that should have became the asset investigation, which would have shown and gave precedent details about the money and revenues that were actually involved, including trust funds and royalties, property holdings, intellectual property rights, which consists of publishing, recordings, etc., and future story rights holdings of my father and our family, myself and my father, Creedell Jones, from the Shielites. Then following the asset investigation should have became a genealogical investigation, which gives precedence and direct information and data pertaining to who it could be potentially a niece or a nephew of my father, and thereby giving us the full understanding of who we could and should rule out as being his direct child based off of his sisters and brothers' parental relationship to the actual individual that's claiming to be the child of my father, Creedell Jones, from the Shielites. Then from that should have been the final investigation, would have been the DNA test. So I'm going to try to ask Judge Lauren Lake to get this done right now. And you're getting ready to hear me do this. I'm calling her up right now.